Hello everybody, this is Tim here again, here with the BoomStick Zombathon. Like I said in the last video, I'm going to be reviewing all the George Romero zombie films in honor of George Romero, and for Halloween, I'm going to do them all in one compact video, baby. And I'm even going to throw in the remakes. Let me adjust myself right there, because we got quite a couple of zombie flicks to get through. Just to jump in here, you got Not Living Dead, the original classic from the 60s. This film is actually in public domain. Anybody can do a remake of it. Hell, I could do a remake of it, or my own version of it. There's nothing really I can say for a few of these films that hasn't been said already. Not Living Dead is obviously a 4-star film. I think it's a classic. Not Living Dead is, in my opinion, the greatest zombie film of all time. Yes, I do think it's slightly better than Dawn of the Dead, the original, but I will say Dawn of the Dead is my personal favorite zombie film of all time. I prefer Dawn of the Dead to this movie, but I do think Night of the Living Dead is a better film. You got just epic scenes that are known worldwide to horror fans, with the zombie-like daughter and the trowel that she uses to stab her mom. You got the characters Ben arguing with Mr. Cooper about where to go, either the cellar or stay upstairs. Just great stuff. What I love about the George Romero zombie films is it's the humans, not really the zombies, that are the threat. The zombies are real slow as shit, and it's really the humans that end up getting themselves killed because they can't become coordinated or work anything out. And the ending of this film is just epic. The ending of Not Living Dead, at the end of it, you got Ben, he's still alive, and he's, of course, African American. He's at the end of the film, and he gets shot by the redneck posse who's supposed to be there to be the heroes. And it adds like a good social commentary on the movie, because it's like, did they shoot him just because he was black, or did they really think he was a zombie? I just love that. Obviously a 4-star film out of 4. Great movie. Any kind of problems with the movie? The character of Barbara in the movie, I understand that she goes hysterical in the movie, or just kind of shuts down, which is fine with me. But my problem is she doesn't really do anything. She doesn't do shit in the whole movie and just dies in the end. It's just like, what? I don't know. There's just no purpose to the character. All in all, 4-star film out of 4. I love Night of the Living Dead. Classic, in my opinion. Best zombie film ever made, in my opinion. Dawn of the Dead, I believe, came out in 1978. Dawn of the Dead is my personal favorite zombie film. I don't think it's more interesting to watch than Night of the Living Dead, and there's more going on, and there's better like underlying layers of social commentary here in Dawn of the Dead. I mean, you got the whole mall thing that everybody knows about, and it's like the whole consumerism thing that George Romero is doing here, about how the zombies are all coming to the mall because that was like their favorite place when they were alive. And you got this group of characters, including this pregnant chick, who are all held up in the mall. You got Ken Foray, who's great here. And you got this guy named Peter, who they nicknamed like Flyboy or whatever. He does a great zombie at the end of it. You got Tom Savini, who shows up as a biker when this big biker gang like raids the mall. Really awesome. I love this film. This and Night of the Living Dead are masterpieces as far as I'm concerned. Not just horror masterpieces, but movie masterpieces. These are masterpieces of cinema that if you have not seen, I highly recommend you check these two films out. The reason I think Night of the Living Dead is a little bit better than Dawn of the Dead is because I feel like Night of the Living Dead holds up a little better. I kind of feel like that film's timeless. Whereas Dawn of the Dead, I feel like at the end of it, when it's playing like the 70s retro music, when and Ken Foray's like getting out of the mall or whatever, and he's like beating up all the zombies. I don't know. I feel like that it's a little dated. Or, excuse me, I'm sorry, Ken Foray's character's name is Peter, not the helicopter flying dude. But, yeah, all in all, 4 stars out of 4. Great classic film. Dawn of the Dead is a wonderful movie. We get into Day of the Dead. What I like about each one of the Romero films is not really sequels. You could really just kind of watch each film on its own, really. They kind of work on their own. That's pretty much the way I'm reviewing them. Day of the Dead is a totally different feeling film than Dawn of the Dead. Just kind of put Dawn of the Dead out of your mind. This film has a totally different feel to it. It's like the last survivors of humanity are like underground. They're experimenting on the zombies. You got the famous zombie Bub, who Dr. Logan is trying to teach to be human again and to be more docile. And through the movie, he like learns stuff, and you actually start to feel sorry for him. And there's this guy named Captain Rhodes, who's just hilarious because he cusses all the time. The problems with the movies, this is the weakest written of the 3 original films. You got the characters in the movie, the soldiers. They're all pretty much dicks. There's not really a sympathetic one among them. It would be more believable if at least one of the soldiers or two of them were more average or normal. And then you got the scientists who are all the good guys, pretty much. I like the score here, like the Jamaican sounding score, and I love the opening of this movie where they're out in the middle of the city or whatever, and they're just yelling, "Hello!" Hello! And it's like newspapers are flying out everywhere. It says "The Dead Walk." It's just great tone for the movie. George Romero could have stopped here with this film. All in all, this is not a great film. It's not a masterpiece either. I know this film has kind of had a resurgence in later years, and some people have started to try to say it's a masterpiece or see it as a masterpiece. And if you see it, if you see the film that way, that is fine. That's cool with me. But all in all, for me personally, I would give this film 3 stars out of 4. I think Day of the Dead is a good film, but it is not great in my opinion. It is not a masterpiece. What keeps this film from being great is there's too much arguing in the movie. The movie kind of starts to drag in the middle, and there's just to be too much arguing. And there probably should have been a rape scene. So there's only one woman here, and there's all guys underneath here, and half of them are lunatics. There probably should have been a wannabe, or at least some dude trying to rape the chick, which is a horrible thing to say, I know, but there should have been at least one scene like that to keep it more realistic. The biggest drawback to this film is the ending. The ending just doesn't really work because the film just kind of stops. It doesn't really end. It ends, but it just stops. It's like they just ran out of money. It's just like ends with a dream sequence. That's just kind of really lazy. I'll just go ahead and spoil it. At the end of the film, when they're running to get in the helicopter, the survivors, and they're going to get out of there, the main chick opens up the door of the helicopter, and then these zombie hands just like lunge out and try to grab her, and it just cuts to them on an island, and you find out the main survivors are safe, and you just find out the whole thing was just a dream of hers of what had happened and how they got there. But they got the right idea, though. Just, you're in a zombie apocalypse, just go live on an island somewhere where there's hardly any people and just live the rest of your days soaking up sunshine. Shit, sounds good to me. All in all, 3 stars for Day of the Dead. It's a good flick. I do recommend it. In my opinion, it has Tom Savini's best gore effects and definitely the best zombie effects of all the George Romero films. Good flick. Land of the Dead. People are kind of split on Land of the Dead. And I kind of see why. It's not scary. Land of the Dead is not scary. It's not. But in my opinion, I'd give it 2.5 stars. I think Land of the Dead is an alright film. I think it's slightly weaker than Day of the Dead, with a little bit more tightness to the script, or to the ending of the film. I think it could have been as good as Day of the Dead. It's really not much worse. It just has a totally different tone, like all Romero's films, or at least a different vibe. In this film, the zombies have pretty much learned to almost totally be human, and they're just trying to find a place to go, and they want to go live in the big rich place that Dennis Hopper's character's at. They want to go there, and they're like, Dennis Hopper runs this town, or this city, where these people are like raiding towns and getting supplies to keep everybody up, and the rich people are living in nice places, and the poor people are on the streets. More social commentary by Romero. Problems here, the main guy, Simon Baker, I think is the actor's name, he does a good job. He's not bad. But his character's a little dull. He's just a token good guy. He's just not that interesting. Meanwhile, John Leguizamo's character, who has much more layers to his personality or to his character, he wants to be with the rich people, and you can tell he probably grew up as a poor dude all his life, and he thinks he's going to get a piece of the pie, and Dennis Hopper screws him over, and he wants revenge. He's a much more interesting character than the main dude. I would have liked the movie even better if we would have gotten to follow him in the film. It would have been better in my opinion. At the end, the ending of the film is my biggest problem. You get to the end of the film and they're like driving away, the main cast is, who have survived, and they're wanting to head to Canada because everything up there is frozen, and no zombies can pretty much live there because they'll freezing the blocks of ice in just a matter of probably a couple minutes or whatever. There's nothing really alive up north. The further you go to the cold is like the less zombie action you get because there's not that many people there. Anyway, and at the end of the film, he's like driving off, and they're shooting all the fireworks like out of the vehicle or whatever, because they use fireworks in the film to keep the zombies distracted, because they can't. You gotta look up. They just get froze by looking at them. And then a certain group of zombies has learned not to do it, so they're firing them all off at the end of it because they feel like they don't need them anymore. But logically, wouldn't you keep the fireworks because there's other zombies that you may run into on the way there that haven't evolved past that yet, that you could use these things for? I mean, wouldn't you still be able to use it? I mean, little things like that just bothered me. Another thing is like the main zombie here is like Big Daddy. He's like super smart, and he's like walking off at the end of it. And Simon Baker's like, no, don't shoot him. He's just looking for a place to go. And I get the idea that him and his squad of zombies are kind of leaving the city, but at the same time, I don't really buy that he wouldn't blow them away because they could kill an innocent person on their way out of the city by accident or on purpose. I mean, I don't really buy that. The guy who plays Big Daddy, though, does a good job. He does a really good job as the zombie. All in all, 2.5 stars. It's an alright film. I like the film. I recommend it. It's only slightly weaker than Day of the Dead, in my opinion. We jump into Diary of the Dead, which is George Romero trying to do more of a contemporary zombie-type flick about the internet generation and all that, and the video generation where everybody has to record everything, hence me recording right now. Yeah, and all in all, Diary of the Dead, I'd give 2 stars. It's a passable flick. I respect the film for trying to do something different, something contemporary and modern. It's a passable movie. I don't mind the flick, and I can watch it, but I won't watch it unless I'm having a George Romero marathon. In my opinion, I would have been perfectly fine stopping at Land of the Dead, but I would watch this film if I was having like a George Romero marathon. I think it would be perfectly fine to follow up with Land of the Dead. It continues the cycle of being a totally different story and not involving the characters from the last film, except one actor from, well, at least 2 actors from Land of the Dead. One of the soldiers and one of the kids that got killed at the beginning of Land of the Dead are in Diary of the Dead, but they play different characters. But anyway, and you got pretty much this college group of people and this professor, or kids and this professor, who are like traveling around recording everything that's happening, and they can't, some stupid crap, the dude who's recording like won't put the camera down to help his friend. That's really unrealistic and stupid. Makes no sense. And another problem is some of the acting is bad here. There's like some really bad moments of bad acting in some scenes. The effects are mostly good though. The film gets a little too preachy with the social commentary. This is the first one I've really felt like the social commentary gets a little bit too in your face. All in all, it's a passable flick. I can watch it and be fine with it. Survival of the Dead. I hated Survival of the Dead. Survival of the Dead sucked. I'll just be honest with you. Survival of the Dead sucked. Just give me a second right here. I took some notes. I only took one note for Survival. You can't really see it because the writing's so small, but next to the Survival of the Dead, for my score, I just wrote the movie sucks. But yeah, just to spitball for Survival of the Dead. Survival of the Dead is a clear 1-star film. It sucks. It sucks. It's like a zombie western, but the zombies have been like non-threats really in other films. It's more about the humans causing their own downfall. But here the zombies are like just constant gags. It's like the pie-in-the-face scene from the original Dawn of the Dead from 1978, but just constantly done and even more over the top. The comedy here is like a Warner Brothers cartoon, just constantly. And I actually was gelling with the film for a little bit because I'm like, if you just want to make a live-action cartoon zombie flick and just be goofy as hell with it, it's fine. But all the characters here are pretty shitty, and there's 1 or 2 moments of bad acting. The old man, though, who played like, I think he was an O'Flynn. His last name was O'Flynn or something like that in the movie. The old man in the film who teams up with the soldiers, he was cool. He actually had some funny-ass lines. Way too much friggin' CGI in this movie. And the ending to this movie is just downright stupid. Where all the zombies like break out of the stable or whatever, and they're attacking all the cowboy guys. And the cowboy guys, instead of like running off into the woods or something, or just running away, they run into the stable where all the zombies are, so they'll be cornered and they have nowhere to go. It's retarded. All in all, 1 stars. It just feels like the well has been dried up by this point. There's really nothing to say with this film. You got one group of people who's trying to teach the zombies to be human again, who thinks they can keep them alive, but they're letting the zombies overly multiply, and they're losing track of them, and they're going out and killing people. And you got the other dude who just wants to shoot the zombies in the head, but they can't come into any kind of agreement because they're human. They just keep arguing about shit and just killing each other. Obviously the guy who wants to shoot him in the head has the right idea. They should have merged the plans if they thought about it. keep a small number of the zombies alive to see if you can domesticate them or something, and kill the majority so you're not overrun. They should have done something like that, but of course they can't come into an agreement. So all hell breaks loose. And at the end, pretty much everyone dies except for the group of soldiers or whatever. The main dude, whose name's like Nicotine Crockett, I believe, because he constantly smokes in the movie. Him and this other girl soldier, and this boy who is also in Land of the Dead. And they just leave the island at the end. The movie takes place on an island named Plum, and at the end of the film, they just leave the island. That's pretty much where it ends. Yeah, all in all, this film sucks. Now, we're going to jump into the remake territory. Oh, 1 star for Survival of the Dead, in case I didn't say it already. But yeah, now we're going to jump into the remake territory. In the 1990s, they made a remake of Night of the Living Dead, directed by Tom Savini, and I believe screenplay was written by George Romero. Yeah, all in all, this remake of Night of the Living Dead has people way split down the middle for this remake. I lean somewhere towards the middle for the remake. If I compare this remake of Night of the Living Dead strictly to the original and what the original accomplished, it sucks. It doesn't stand a chance. But if I compare it for the movie that it is, it's easily a 3 star out of 4 film. The remake of Night of the Living Dead is a good zombie flick. It is. But it doesn't have the wit or the smarts of the original. Pretty much the movie's mostly the same, except you got more like goofy, like 60s style, like cussing lines in a 1990s movie, so it doesn't really work. Like Mr. Cooper keeps calling everybody yo-yos instead of dickwads, so it feels weird. And you got Tony Todd, who does a great job in the movie playing the character of Ben. At the end of the film, you got Patricia Tallman, who plays Barbara. I did like this twist. This was a cool update to the original film. In this one, Barbara, instead of becoming, she does start to become like quiet and stuff, but then she like snaps out of it, becomes like this super badass, and it's just like killing zombies left and right. That was cool. And at the end of the film, she gets away, and this is the biggest change in the ending. I think that's a pretty funny thing, that the one character who was useless in the original is the one who gets away in the remake. That's hilarious. She gets away, but then you get the ending here, which is nowhere near as impactful as the original film. She comes back, and there's Mr. Cooper, who has been a dick for the whole film. She shoots him in the head, and she tells the people that's another one for the fire, that's a zombie. And we're supposed to kind of like be like, I guess, mortified or something like that she's crossed the line now and killed this guy. But the guy was such a huge prick for the whole movie, honestly. Who gives a rat's ass? And they kind of spell it out at the end of the movie. She walks out. Where the original movie was smarter, in this film, like Barbara's character like walks outside and she looks at the zombies. She's like, they're us. We're them and they're us. And it's like, no shit. You had to like literally say it. Yeah, all in all, the remake of Night of the Living Dead is a good zombie flick, but it doesn't have the intelligence or the social commentary and the wit of the original. But it is good. I do love the hilarious fact that Barbara actually is the only one that notices that the zombies are literally slow as hell, and you can walk by every single one of them. Like, seriously, like, I could hobble, like, out of the driveway faster than it would take these things to make it from where I'm sitting to this desk. Seriously, that's how slow these things are. Like, really, they could easily just band together and just freaking walk to town. Just with their guns. They didn't even need a vehicle. Yeah, all in all, 3 stars. Now we jump into Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. Like Night of the Living Dead, this movie loses the social commentary, but where this movie makes up for it is pure badassness. This remake of Dawn of the Dead is not as good as the original. It's not a masterpiece like the original. I'm not going to pretend it is, but it is a 4 star out of 4 zombie flick. It is a great action zombie flick. This movie is badass action wise, and you get a zombie baby in the movie, which is hilarious, and you just got cool, awesome Zack Snyder action, and Ving Rhames just makes this movie. I love his relationship with the dude who's on the other building or whatever across from him. I saw this movie in theaters, had a blast with it. The opening of the movie with the Johnny Cash song when the man comes around, it's just fucking magnifique. It's wonderful. This is a great zombie action film. The huge horde of zombies at the end. They're inside these armored buses, and this dude like comes up at the top of the shotgun. The character's name is like CJ, and he blasts the shit, the barrels with the flares in them, and it blows up. You get this huge shock wave that knocks the zombies back. Great film. Make sure you watch it through the credits. The movie keeps playing through the credits, which I thought was hilarious. And the survivors like make it to this island in the middle of the ocean. Then they get attacked by a huge horde of zombies, which is totally unrealistic. There's no way there'd be that many zombies on this random freaking island. But at the same time, it's a hilarious way to end the movie. And also, for some reason in the credits, there's a brief shot of lesbians in night vision for some reason. I have no idea why, but it was funny. And then the movie just kind of ends there, and you can just make up your own mind about who survived and got off the island and who died. Or if you're kind of a nihilistic person, you can say, well, everybody's dead. It's a movie, so you can perfectly assume that whoever made it off, that you wanted to make it off the island, whatever. I'm really surprised they never did a sequel to this flick. I know they were trying to do a sequel called Army of the Dead that was going to take place in Las Vegas. I believe that's going to be about a dad searching for his lost child in Vegas while the zombie outbreak is happening, and the government was trying to like contain it in Vegas. That would have been cool. Give me a sequel to this thing. I wish Zack Snyder, as cool as it is for him to be doing comic book movies, I wish he would go back and do another horror flick. He did a great job with this. Yeah, all in all, 4 stars for Dawn of the Dead. The soundtrack here is great too. Down with the Sickness, and then you get like this slower version of Down with the Sickness, which is hilarious. This is a great flick. The remake of Day of the Dead, damn boys. The remake of Day of the Dead sucks ass. I'll just go ahead and say it, 0 for the remake of Day of the Dead by Steve Miner, and I don't mind Steve Miner. I think of Steve Miner as kind of a director for hire, but he has some talent. I don't really care for Halloween H2O. It's okay flick, but his Friday the 13th Part 2 is pretty good, and his Friday the 13th Part 3 is all right. Both perfectly watchable slasher films. He's not a great director by any means, but I think he's competent. He should have done better than this. This is pathetic. There's probably a lot of people to blame here. Bad special effects, horrible cast, except for Ving Rhames. I have no idea why Nick Cannon's here. Ving Rhames plays Captain Rhodes. The main villain of the original here, he's wasted. I have no idea why. This is a terrible film. It's a 0 out of 4. It's a piece of shit movie. You get zombies that don't even eat people in the film, and then you get zombies who crawl on walls like Spider-Man, and super speed. What? No sense. Crap. It's dog shit. Then you got Night of the Dead 3D, which is the second remake. Well, they've done multiple remakes of Night of the Dead. I don't know which one exactly this is, but this is one of the most well-known ones. Night of the Dead 3D is also a 0-star flick for me. I hated this flick. It sucked. You got Barbara here, and it takes place in like contemporary times. The chick playing Barbara is a good-looking woman. I'll give the movie that. And in the movie, she's got like a cell phone, and she gets a text message from her brother that says, "We're coming to get you. I'm coming to get you, Barbara," or whatever. Where they replay the line from the original. It's just so cheesy and unneeded. There is at least one scene I like in the movie where the beginning of the movie starts out and it's in black and white, and you're wondering, well, what's going on? It looks like the footage from the original, then the camera like zooms out and it's the original Night of the Dead on TV. I like that. That was cool. And the characters in the film are like watching the original Night of the Dead on TV, which could have been a cool meta thing in a better version of this movie. But here it just feels weird seeing a better version of this same story being watched in a shittier version of the story, if you know what I mean. And then Sid Haig is here, but he's here so sparsely, or sparingly, you forget that he's even in the film. When he is here, though, he does do a good job. And the ending of the film is just retarded. You get to the end of the film and all the characters dead, but Barbara, and she's standing there with her gun, which she still has like multiple bullets in it, and there's just like a few zombies who like come out from underneath this garage and are just coming towards her. She could easily just run away. There's nothing wrong with her. The chick could just run away, but she just stands there, and then the zombies just get closer to the camera like this, and it just freeze frames and it goes off. It's like, wow, man, wow, just friggin' lazy. Film sucks. In my opinion, it is shit. So yeah, all in all, that wraps up the George Romero-a-thon right there. I love George Romero. Great horror director. He's done some masterpieces for the horror community, and I wish he was still around. I hope his script Road of the Dead, about like the zombie crash up derby thing he had going on, that was going to be like a Coliseum in the future. It's going to take place like after Land of the Dead, I believe. I hope that gets made from his script. I think that could be a lot of fun. I love a good over-the-top exploitation film, so I hope that gets done just in his honor. So, you know, here's to you, George. Hope wherever you are, you're having a blast. And all in all, I'll see you guys again with the next review.